Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for joining us for a public workshop on the update to California's Extreme Heat Action Plan, co-facilitated by the Governor's Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation, or LCI, and the California Natural Resources Agency, or CNRA. This update reflects current state extreme heat actions and priorities from across agencies, departments, boards, commissions, and conservancies. A quick note that this call is being held as a meeting, and you will have the opportunity to unmute yourself and participate in the conversation during our breakout rooms. In the meantime, please keep your volume muted. Feel free to use the chat or Q&A for any questions. Our workshop is slated to take about 90 minutes. After our welcome and introduction, we will do a quick overview of the Extreme Heat Action Plan. We will then proceed to track-specific breakout rooms, where individuals can give direct feedback on the action tracks, provide additional responses to plan-wide questions. After the breakout rooms, we will give a quick overview of other state-related resources before concluding our call. Thank you again for joining us today. My name is Catherine Foster, and I'm a senior planner at the Governor's Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation, or LCI. I'm joined by our program manager for the Extreme Heat and Community Resilience Program, Braden Kay, associate planners Riley Bartlett and Colin Green, assistant planner Angela Rosseo, and senior planner Kim Danko. From our partner, the California Natural Resources Agency, we have Jen Phillips, assistant secretary for climate change, and Fiona Vogler, executive fellow. Thank you so much for being here today. I'll now pass to Riley for a series of polls.
Give me just a moment.
Let's take it in. All right, so we'd like you to put in the chat where you're joining us from today. So if you're joining from the Bay Area, Central Coast, Central Valley, Los Angeles, the North Coast, Sacramento Valley, Sierra Range, the foothills, or Southern California. Amazing. Seeing a lot of responses in the chat. Looks like quite a few from the Central Coast, some from the Bay Area, the Sierras, Southern California or San Diego, Sacramento Valley. Riley and I are also calling in from the Sacramento area, Bay Area, LA, SoCal, etc. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your contributions for today. Our next poll is focused on sector. If you could use the chat and indicate what sector you work in. So academia, are you working for a CBO? Are you working for a for-profit, local or regional government, nonprofit, state government, or other? I see a couple local regional government, CBO, state government, nonprofit, local government, Sierra Foothills. Incredible. Thank you all for joining us today. I hope you see yourselves represented in the plan that we're reviewing. And our last poll is focused on which action track you're most interested in talking about. So we have 4 action tracks. You'll learn a little bit more about them momentarily. We have track A, build public awareness and notification. We have track B, strengthen community services and response. Track C, increase resilience of our built environment. And track D, utilize nature-based solutions. You could also indicate no preference or you're interested in all. It'd be great to understand what track you're interested in most. Amazing. Seeing a lot of interest across the board. We'll have multiple opportunities to discuss multiple tracks. So we really appreciate you participating. So track A, C, D, interested in all, C and D, NBS. Great to see. Amazing. It's great to have you here. I'm now going to pass to Jen Phillips from the California Natural Resources Agency for a quick overview of the Extreme Heat Action Plan.
Thank you, Catherine, and thank you all so much for joining us this Monday morning to learn a little bit more about our Extreme Heat Action Plan. So as you all know, we're talking about the 2026 draft of the Extreme Heat Action Plan today. This is called California's Extreme Heat Action Plan, a state strategy for protecting Californians from extreme heat. This draft plan really provides a strategic and comprehensive set of state actions to build resilience in the face of extreme heat. It outlines California's all-of-government approach to mitigating the health, economic, cultural, ecological, and social impacts of increasing average temperatures and heat waves. The plan is organized around 4 tracks that group all of the actions of the Extreme Heat Action Plan. Those tracks are public awareness, community response, the built environment, and nature-based solutions. So great to hear, which ones you are all most interested in diving into today. This draft 2026 Extreme Heat Action Plan, which, as you know, just opened up for public comment a couple weeks ago, is an update and really builds on California's 2022 Extreme Heat Action Plan, which was developed as the state was updating our broader climate adaptation strategy. We realized that we really needed this standalone extreme heat action plan or extreme heat strategy. So we released the California Extreme Heat Action Plan in 2022, recognizing this concerted need to really outline the state's activities and response to extreme heat. The 2022 Extreme Heat Action Plan really builds on also a 2013 guidance memo on extreme heat. So the work here you see today is continuing to kind of build on and expand upon all the work California is doing in the face of extreme heat. Next slide, please. So this update, the 2026 update of the Extreme Heat Action Plan, is called for in Senate Bill 306, which was passed in 2023. It specifically, that bill, Senate Bill 306, calls for the Extreme Heat Action Plan to be updated every 3 years, and the next iteration of this plan to be published in July of 2026. So this illustration on your screen here sort of shows our process for updating the plan by July of 2026. We have, started last summer really doing kind of the internal work, doing some early engagement and getting feedback from many people across California. And then now where we're at, building to releasing the public comment draft. So we have this, 6 to 8 week period to really collect feedback from everyone and then deliver a final update in July of 2026. And the bill calls again for the plan to be updated every 3 years. So we do see this as sort of a cyclical process. And we do see that, in between the updates of the plan, really focusing on implementation across California state agencies on extreme heat. Next slide, please. Like with the 2022 Extreme Heat Action Plan, we are really looking at this as an all-of-government approach to tackling and addressing extreme heat. So LCI and CNRA, or Governor's Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation, and the California Natural Resources Agency, we are coordinating the update of this statewide plan, but we are working with so many different agencies and the departments and boards and offices and commissions within those agencies to reflect sort of our state strategy on extreme heat that pulls in so many different players and truly is an all-of-government approach. So collectively, this draft plan includes a combination of 126 established action, so work underway, and recommended actions. And that is work that, the state is hoping to do in the years ahead. So it's a real body of work, and it is not everything the state's doing on extreme heat, but really the most important, most critical work happening now and, hoping to happen into the future. Next slide. So this slide is just sort of outlining again where we're at in the process. As I mentioned earlier, we have been, working and thinking on about this update to the extreme heat plan since the summer and fall of 2025, doing a lot of internal work to update the plan, doing a lot of early engagement and outreach in the summer and early fall to make sure we're communicating and reflecting that plan in a clear way. And then doing some more drafting of the plan to then release this public comment draft in February. So we are, in this period between February and April where we're trying to get a lot of feedback and input from all of you on the line here today. And then we'll go back to our colleagues in the state and across the many agencies to finalize the plan and release by July 2026. So just wanted to share that in this updated draft, the 2026 draft, 24% of the actions are new. So new from the 2022 plan. So that means they were not included in the 2022 plan, or they are now established actions, whereas in the 2022 plan, they were recommended actions or work that the state was hoping to tackle. 32% of the actions are considered updated from the 2022 plan, which means that they have been modified slightly in their language or the supporting agencies involved in implementing those actions. So yeah, this is the time now to kind of hear from you all. We obviously have these virtual engagement opportunities, and we will have some in-person public opportunities. And of course, you can always email us with feedback or submit the responses to the survey. So lots of different ways to collect your input between now and early April. And we're really excited to hear from you all today. So I will hand it over now to Braden, and thanks again for being here.
Thanks, Jen. So as Jen just said, the public comment period is currently open. It'll close on April 8th, and you have a variety of ways to give us feedback. The Microsoft form, you can mail us, and then you can also, the survey is also posted both to the LCI and CNRA web pages. So lots of ways to give us feedback over the course of the next month. Next slide. So during the public comment period, CNRA and LCI will be hosting a series of virtual and in-person workshops to discuss the Extreme Heat Action Plan and gather feedback on the draft. The virtual sessions are today and tomorrow. And then the in-person workshops are Monday, March 16th in Riverside, Friday, March 27th, or Reading is the first one, then Riverside, and then Fresno. CNRA and LCI will also be co-facilitating a tribal roundtable. More details for these events, including registration details, can be found both on CNRA's website and LCI's website. And then we're also planning on highlighting EHAP at other events throughout the month of March. And if you have any ideas of other events that we need to be delivering this information or other people we need to be connecting to, just please let us know. So next slide. Before we move to breakout rooms, I'd like to give you a quick overview of the 4 action tracks within the Extreme Heat Action Plan and their respective goals, as it may help you decide what conversations you want to be a part of this morning. So with track A, building public awareness and notification, goal 1 is building public awareness about extreme heat events through targeted communications and campaigns. Goal 2 is supporting actionable climate science and research to inform risk assessments and decision making. And goal 3, improving accuracy and accessibility of heat modeling and data to inform decision makers. Track B is strengthening community services and response. So goal 1, invest in social resilience. Goal 2, protect California's workers and economy from the impacts of extreme heat. And Goal 3, supporting local planning and response measures to extreme heat events. Next slide. So then in track C, which is increase resilience of our built environment, we have Goal 1, protect critical infrastructure. Goal 2, support heat resilient and cooler communities through relevant regulations and codes. Goal 3, invest in cool buildings and surfaces. Goal 4, utilize science-based frameworks and tools. And then track D, nature-based solutions. Goal 1, promote nature-based solutions to reduce extreme heat risks. Goal 2, support nature's ability to withstand and adapt to increasing temperatures. And Goal 3, reduce heat risk to water supply and systems. So when you go to a particular breakout, we'll give you more examples of the types of actions that are in each of these tracks. There'll be an opportunity to tell us about what's actually going to be discussed in each track. And to give us a little bit more information on that, I'm going to pass you back over to Catherine. Thanks.
Thank you, Braden. Thank you, Jen. So I'd like to quickly just review the structure of the breakout rooms. There will be 60 minutes total for discussion. Each 15-minute interval will be an opportunity to change rooms to a different track. So you're welcome to stay in the room if you wish to continue the conversation, or you can transition to a different track. So the order is up to you. Pick which track you're most interested in having conversation about first. Each room will have a facilitator and in some cases a separate note taker. At the beginning of each 15-minute segment, we'll give a quick overview of the track and then a review state-related programs and initiatives to give you a better understanding of what we're talking about. We'll then review a series of discussion questions. The top 3 are track specific, so how are your priorities for this track reflected in the cumulative actions? Are any of your priorities missing? Do you have any general comments and questions about this track? If there's time, we also welcome your thoughts on what is missing from the Extreme Heat Action Plan. And then also, is the Extreme Heat Action Plan easy to understand? And your thoughts on what can make it clearer for you. In a moment, we'll open the breakout rooms. We have instructions on the screen. So on the desktop, if you haven't done breakout rooms before, there's a breakout room button in the bottom toolbar. You'll identify and select the desired track breakout room you wish to join. And you'll, if prompted, click yes to confirm. If you're calling in from mobile, you have an opportunity, you'll see tap the screen to see controls. You tap breakout rooms and then identify the desired track breakout room and tap join. So we have the 4 breakout rooms for different tracks. If you have any questions, feel free to convey them to either your facilitator or to other LCI folks. We'll also be posting little notifications as the 15-minute interval proceeds forward. So we really appreciate you participating in this breakout room structure and look forward to your thoughts and feedback. And Riley will open the rooms now. There should be a button if you're calling in from Zoom. If you click on the More button with the 3 little dots, there's a button that says Join Breakout Room. Feel free to pick the breakout room of your choice. I see there's quite a lot of folks in track C, quite a lot of folks in track D, and then our facilitators will also need to choose the respective breakout room as well. We'll have a couple folks staying on the line to keep the meeting open. Feel free to chat if you have any questions. I look forward to reconvening in about 60 minutes time. Incredible. We really, really appreciate everyone's feedback and conversations for each of the four respective tracks. If you'd like to connect further on anything you've talked about today, please do not hesitate to reach out to any of the LCI folks or with our contact information that we'll share as part of the follow-up. In the final 15 minutes, we're going to provide a little more information on some related seat resources that might be of interest. We're also going to highlight again the public comment period for the Extreme Heat Action Plan. So I'll go ahead and share a screen just for a little bit more. And then I'm actually going to ask Colin Green from the LCI to give a quick overview of our Extreme Heat Community Resilience Program Round 2.
Sorry, Catherine, I got kicked out of the meeting for a second, so I'm getting to where I can speak to this. Thank you, everyone. I know a lot of people in my group had questions and were curious about this upcoming round of funding. So the quick overview of it is that it is $27.5 million, and these dollars must go towards infrastructure investments because they're coming from the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund and Proposition 4. We're expecting to award roughly 20 projects, and the public comment period for providing your input and feedback on the guidelines, the draft guidelines, just closed last week. And so we're going to be integrating all of those public comments into the update, and then we will share out the finalized guidelines later this spring, along with a timeline for the application process. So with that, I will pass back to Catherine to talk about Prop 4.
Thanks, Colin. Just a quick flag as well. We want to reiterate that there are multiple programs being funded through Prop 4. I'm going to drop a link in the chat that will take you to this website on the California Natural Resources Agency page that speaks to the Prop 4 work. I also wanted to flag that the public comment period for the urban greening draft grant guidelines is open now and closes in April. So if folks have questions, feel free to direct them to CNRA. We can also receive questions, but we'll most likely pass to CNRA. If you have questions about our program in particular from the LCI side, please don't hesitate to reach out. I also wanted to flag once again that the public comment period for the Extreme Heat Action Plan is open and will stay open until end of day, April 8th. That's a Wednesday. There are a couple options to provide feedback. This is one of the options, so thank you again for participating. I'm going to drop in the chat a link to our survey as well. This survey will include similar questions to the ones that we've had today. I'll provide you additional opportunities to provide input to each of the tracks that we presented on today. There are also additional opportunities to participate in our work. We have another virtual session this evening, so if you'd like to join, we welcome your attendance. We also have a handful of upcoming in-person opportunities. So March 16th is next Monday in Reading, March 27th in Riverside, and then April 1st in Fresno. We welcome your attendance and will include the registration details as part of our follow-up. You can also reach out to us directly. We have an email address here. You also see on the last slide our direct contact details if you'd like to follow up by email. If you're a fan of in-person mail, please feel free to send us mail directly at the Governor's Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation address. We're at 1400 10th Street, directly kitty corner from the Capitol. We welcome your feedback and input there. I'm also going to drop again, if folks haven't received it, the link to our draft. It's been out since February 23rd. Please feel free to reference that when you're filling out the survey. You can fill out the survey as many times as you like. And there's multiple opportunities to weigh in throughout the public comment period. Here are our contact details. Thank you again for your time and attention today. We really appreciate your input on the development of California's 2026 Extreme Heat Action Plan. If you have any follow-up questions and or wish to speak more on the state's extreme heat work, including any of the resources we've listed in the draft, or just general considerations for the work that we're doing, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll share this recording as part of our follow-up. We'll also flag our additional engagement opportunities, and we look forward to engaging with you further as we finalize Extreme Heat Action Plan and publish it in the summer. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Hope you all have a wonderful Monday, and take care.